folks, sorry for taking so long to get back to you. Some of my pre-orders have been delayed. This figure right here that I'm going to review for you today, the Threezero X-Files Agent Scully, is no exception. It was delayed not once but twice, and I finally received it earlier yesterday. And not only am I going to crack this open and do a bit of a review, but I'm also going to compare it with a custom that I had made a while back and see how it measures up. Let's take a look. All right, before I get started on opening this figure, I just had to show off for you my custom here that I made for my, what's it called, ED209 or EC209, something like that. Anyway, it's that big robot in RoboCop, the bad robot that RoboCop had a fight at the end. So this is Dick Jones, the mastermind behind the creation of that robot, and I wanted to have this figure to put next to the ED209 to kind of, I guess, give it a nice extra touch. So I thought the likeness was very good. His real name is something Cox. So I thought it kind of a funny coincidence that his real last name is Cox and his first name in the movie is Dick. So I don't know. Maybe there's a theme. Maybe there isn't. Anyways, let's take a look at the figures now. All right, let's crack her open. So as is standard with Threezero, there's not much to the box itself. And it doesn't have a view window like some of the other makers. But they don't make it hard to open the box either. Oh, there's documents. I'm not used to documents. Warranty. I'm not used to a warranty. I didn't know the figures needed warranties these days. That's new. All right, instruction manual. Not quite a manual. It's a one-sided piece of paper. All right, we'll work with it. All right, well, she's petite. That's one thing that I find interesting off the bat. The figure itself is, it seems a little off scale. You'll see what I mean in a moment when we hold it side by side with my custom. But it's like the head is too small, or the frame of the upper body. It almost has a Barbie-like feel to it. The joints are appropriate. Okay, so this has, without opening the shirt, I could tell this has a seamless arm to it. The leg does not. The legs do not. The shoes do not come off. They are sculpted as part of the figure itself. She just seems kind of stiff. Take a look at that head sculpt. It'd probably be hard to tell through the camera, but the coloring is just kind of flat. It doesn't really stand out. The hair sculpt is okay. I think the way they did the bangs is a little weird, but that's passable. But there's just something missing with the head sculpt. Anyways, I'll have you make a determination when we hold it up to my custom in a few minutes here. So she's wearing the pants, but as you see, she also comes with the skirt. That's the other option. We've got a few pairs of hands, and the hands are quite tiny, even for a female figure. This is one thing that's kind of throwing me off here. So you got a few hands there. Some bits and pieces extra. Very good badge. But we're going to hold it up to another badge that I have with my custom figure, and also make a comparison there in a minute. She has a cell phone. Now, I was one of those folks that got all the Sideshow X-Files figures. I never did get Alex Krycek because it seemed a little bit rarer than the other figures, and on eBay it was a little too expensive for me. But I had the Smoking Man, I had Mulder, Scully, and Agent Doggett, and I ended up slowly over time getting customs and trading up to that. There's the flashlight for you. It could be metal. It isn't. This is plastic. Lately, flashlights that I've seen come with figures tended to lean towards the metal as a standard. The gun is also not metal. It's plastic. Let's see if the slide works. Slide test, good. Magazine. Magazine comes out. That's good. Fits right into the holster. The holster is a sort of button-down holster. So put it in there. And it stays closed. It's good fitting. And it looks like there's a loop in the back to put through the belt. All right, we got her FBI badge. And this is the first one. There's been a few figures I've seen with FBI badges. This is the first one I've seen that's double-sided. So that's a nice attention to detail on that. And it looks like it's a metal clip. So you just kind of have to put it on the lapel and snap it a little bit. Not bad. Looks like they're real buttons. They're not snap buttons. And the jacket's fitting kind of tight. I don't like how tight this jacket is. And we've got her coat, her trench coat. What an FBI agent is complete without the trench coat. So it's a nice material. It's got an interior lining to it. Very appropriate. All right. And as I said, there's just something very weird about the size of the head sculpt and the size of the figure itself. It seems a little too tiny, almost like she's a young adult body type rather than an adult body type. And here's what I'm going to compare it to. All right, so here is my custom Agent Scully here. Now, as you notice, the hands, quite a difference in the size of the hands. As far as the height, quite a difference in height. And if you look at the head sculpts, there's quite a difference in size in the head sculpt. Now with a female head sculpt, maybe, considering the skull size, it might be a slightly smaller than a male head sculpt, but this is significant. And this confirms my suspicions that the head sculpt with the Threezero came out with is a little too tiny, besides the fact that the body is tiny. As far as the clothing, I will say that the Threezero figure does have an edge. But I couldn't even take this head off and put it on the Threezero body. Because I will say, there's a dramatized, punctuated appearance to the head sculpt on my custom. You could tell it's her. She's got she's even got the signature mole under her nose, which is not included on the Threezero version. Her nose is a little bit more pointed. The makeup and eyes come through a little bit better on the custom. And I prefer the reddish hair color. I don't know, if you look through seasons 1 through 9 of the show, the hair color did change slightly over time, especially once you got to the fresh new episodes that most of the diehard fans hate, where she switched to blonde. But I think the red looks good on her. Now, just for shits and giggles, let's take the head from the custom and put it on the body of the Threezero. All right, it doesn't quite fit. I mean, I could put some putty in there, self-hardening putty, and get that to work. But as you can see, now the figure looks cartoonish because the head is too big for the body. This petite body that Threezero has created for the figure. So I don't quite know what to make of this. Before I was thinking, okay, I'll figure out which figure I'm going to keep. Maybe I'll cross over the head or the body or the clothing or something like that. But this is pretty much, it has to stand alone like this. I can't put these clothes on my custom figure because they're too tight and too tiny. it's either I have to pick my custom figure or I have to pick this Threezero figure. And so far I'm leaning towards my custom. Now let's compare the badges. Now for my custom, I use the badges actually from the Barbie and Ken Mulder and Scully. So here, let's take a look at the badge first. Now it's kind of sloppy looking with the Barbie version, and the clip is way too large, and it's made of plastic, and it's hinged. So the badge is definitely better with the Threezero version. Now let's take a look at the other one here. So the one that Threezero came out with, the badge is bland. There's no detailing on the gold emblem, but there is sufficient detailing on the two photo blocks here. However, it's made of plastic, and so you can bend it, but it doesn't stay closed. Now this one with the Barbie, it had a separate attached metal badge. It has a sort of leatherette cover with a plastic window and the pictures behind it. And although it doesn't stay closed, it has a much more realistic appearance just because it's made out of a different material. So stand those side by side and you judge for yourself. I might keep the Barbie version of the badge. So one last thing, here's the trench coat that I have for my custom. This is from the Sideshow Scully. And once again, definitely difference in size comparing the two. So, I mean, I'm just sort of baffled here. There's definitely I don't know what I'm gonna do with this figure. I really don't. I'm gonna have to think about it after I get off the camera with you guys. And maybe I'll go grab my molder and stand it next to both of these lovely women and see which one of them deserves to be with Mulder the rest of their lives. Yeah, I mean, giving this a final rating, I'm gonna have to give this a 6 out of 10. I hate to do that. It's been a while since I've given a figure a 6, but they just, when you mess up on the scaling of the figure itself, we've got problems. And this is just just my subjective interpretation, because these clothes are clearly small. The body is small, the head is very small compared to the standard out there, regardless of manufacturer. They all seem to conflict with this tiny figure, and I don't think it's truly 6 scale. If it was a little bit larger, it would automatically be bumped up to a 8. And the only reason it wouldn't go up to a 9 or a 10 is because the head sculpt is the wrong coloring. It's the face is too bland, the hair coloring's a little off. They just need to bring out the features a little bit more. And it's kind of flush. I just wanted to do a really quick follow-up by giving you a side-by-side of the two head sculpts so you can sort of get an idea of what I was trying to talk about here between the two. I think the Threezero definitely is lacking compared to my custom. But I did, in addition, want to mention kind of a significant error that I discovered after I finished the video. And that is that the pants on the Threezero figure have no belt and no belt loop. Now keep in mind that gun holster had a loop so that you can slip it through the belt and have it concealed underneath her blazer. But given that there's no belt with the figure, it just I guess she has to hold the whole thing in her hand. So maybe they were trying to save a few cents by not stitching that in and including the belt with it, but definitely an error on the part of Threezero on that. Anyways, take it easy. Till next time.